Mahesh Vyas, the managing director and CEO of CMI, writing for Business Standard, has extolled the uptick in employment numbers for listed companies. Employment by listed companies crossed the 10 million mark in 2021-22. Data from Center for Monitoring Indian Economy or CMI reports, as well as the Periodic Labour Force Survey or PLFS, shows that India did well on the employment front between May and September 2022. Urban unemployment rate dropped for the fifth consecutive quarter to 7.2% according to PLFS, while the rate remained below 7% for CMI in the period between May and August 2022. N.R. Bhanumurthy, Vice Chancellor of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar School of Economics, explains the key factors that have led to this uptick.
So I think the job situation in the country is improving. One, because the better growth expectations on Indian economy, a lot of bets on India right now, credit to GDP or credit uptake or the total investments or the foreign investments, all of them seeing an uptick in the economy right now because there is an expectation that it's going to be much better compared to other countries in the world. The second is complete opening up of the contact intensive sectors which have been closed for a long time. And going by the history, that any increase in the formal sector jobs will also lead to increase in the informal sector jobs.
However, even as these numbers paint a positive outlook for growth in employment, there are other data points from the CMI survey that highlight a different trend. According to CMI, rural areas registered a lower unemployment rate of 7.2% for the period between May and August, as compared to 7.8% for urban areas. The labour participation rate or LPR was also higher in rural areas at 40.3% for the same period, as opposed to 37% in urban areas.
The COVID year 2021, the land under cultivation has increased by 40%, right? And labor again increasing by a significant number because we don't have the data, but we know that the hordes of people actually went from the urban areas to the rural areas. And then at the same time, you see as part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat package, how much resources have been transferred to the rural segment and the agriculture sector, the banking sector. So all the three inputs for a production, that is labor, land, and capital, has seen a significant increase during the COVID period. And added to that, MGNREGS allocation, and we have seen doubling of resources going to the rural areas, and the banks also started investing more. So in the overall, I think both in terms of the private sector participation in the agriculture sector and also in terms of the public policy intervention must have really helped in improving the employment opportunities in the rural areas very significantly.
A similar divide can be seen when it comes to employment numbers for men and women. The labour participation rate was at 8.4% for women, as compared to 65.7% for men. The numbers were worse for urban women at 6.3% against 63.6% urban males, while the numbers stood at 9.5% among rural women.
The large part of the female is actually working in a sector which are vulnerable to cycles, okay, compared to the male who are especially in the formal sector. So they're part of the cycle as and when there is an economic downturn, it is the female workforce which get affected much more than the male workforce. And I think that's we have seen during the COVID and the post-COVID recovery process also, we are seeing that kind of a divergence. When it's part of the cycle, now basically all the time the female labor employment only does the catch up with the growth process. Okay, so when there is a recovery process, it takes with a lag, the women employment opportunities will increase.
Dr. Dhanya MB, a fellow at the V.V. Giri National Labour Institute, adds that despite the disparity, the recent picture across national databases is quite optimistic. She said that the labour force participation rate among women has increased from 23 to 24% to 32%, according to the latest PLFS. And there is a regular increase in the female labour force participation rate if we take 2017-2018 as a benchmark. The discrepancies within the larger positive picture of India's employment data don't paint a negative picture. Even as India grapples with historic gaps such as the one between women and men's employment, recent policy measures have made a strong contribution in uplifting rural employment figures. However, it is clear that the policy measures should now also focus on allaying urban unemployment concerns. With the 2023 budget round the corner, it will be interesting to watch what solutions the central government proposes.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.